This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A newly elected mayor in Greensburg is the youngest to ever hold the office. The 26-year-old's plans for his hometown.
A man dies while checking a flat tire on the interstate. Working for you, what police say you should do to keep yourself safe in a similar situation.
And an LGBTQ organization wants employers to make sure everyone feels comfortable at work. How new training aims to make workplaces more inclusive. 5 o'clock here on your Thursday morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Meredith Barrett.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen is with us right now to look at our forecast. And Todd, today, a lot better than what we had yesterday morning at this time.
You know, you'll notice the difference as soon as you walk out the door this morning. Don't get me wrong, it's still cold and way below normal for this year, but take a look at the big number here this morning. Instead of single digits, we're talking about 30 degrees. So yes, I know it's chilly, but look, yesterday we set a record low. The day before we set a record low. We had lots of single digits. Not the case here this morning, and you can thank some cloud cover that's moved in and some southerly winds. So 30 as you work your way down the State Road 37 through Martinsville to Bloomington, then down towards Bedford to the north. So you take US 31, 29 in Tipton, 25 is the current temperature up in the Peru area. So here's the cloud cover. There are a few flurries overnight, nothing of consequence. They are moving out, and these clouds too will move out. So there'll be a little bit of cloud cover to start our day, but then that band of cloud cover will move out, and we'll just be dealing with partly cloudy skies throughout the afternoon hours. The one thing you won't notice here today is the temperatures warming a whole lot. We don't really see much in the way of progression into milder air. We only go up to about 33 degrees by the noon hour, then 36 degrees by 4 p.m. with those partly cloudy skies. However, we do have some 50s finally in our 7-day planning forecast. More on that, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Take a look here at our traffic now map. Look around the metro area. No crashes right now to slow you down, so that is great news for your morning commute. Want to take you into the downtown area. Look right now live from our INDOT traffic camera at I-70 in the North Split. Traffic here is moving along just fine in all directions. Again, no crashes, no major delays to report to you, but of course we'll keep an eye on it.
Vice President Mike Pence will soon return to Indiana. He will speak in Indianapolis at the Strata Education Network National Symposium on Wednesday. The Indianapolis-based network focuses on helping bridge the gap between education and employment. Pence's visit will happen one day after the Go Red for Ed rally for teachers at the State House.
A young politician is looking forward to making changes in his hometown. The 26-year-old mayor-elect of Greensburg, Joshua Marsh, is the youngest person elected to that position. Marsh says he wants Greensburg to be a place where new businesses choose to open up. He also wants to bring more young people back.
Go out, see the world, get your education, do something fun, but keep us in mind and be willing to come home and help us build a better community, because we're going to need everybody.
Well, he has the help from two other elected officials, Christian Rust and Nate Harder, who are 30 and 31. They hope people from other small towns will see what they do. What they plan to do, and realize that this can be done anywhere.
Oh, lots of family. I have lots of family in Greensburg, and I am excited about that. After a man was hit and killed while checking for a flat tire on I-465 yesterday morning, state police are sharing new information about how to keep yourself safe on the highway. We first told you about the crash yesterday morning on Good Morning Indiana. It happened around 5 a.m. near Washington Street on the west side. Police say a man pulled over and got out of his car to check on a flat tire. Another vehicle then crashed into his car and hit the man as well. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators are calling the crash a tragic accident. Police say there are things you can do to protect yourself if you run into trouble on the highway.
If you do find yourself in that situation, and if it's something so simple as a flat tire, I recommend doing your best to drive off the highway, especially in a urban area where there's plenty of exits. Drive to the next exit and get somewhere safe. Even if you ruin the rim on your car, it is the safer thing to do.
Experts with AAA also recommend keeping an emergency kit in your car, one with lights, flares, and reflective vests.
At 5:03 new this morning, you can soon fly to 4 new destinations nonstop from the Indianapolis International Airport. Allegiant now has flights to Tucson, Arizona, and Spirit is offering trips to Fort Myers and Tampa, Florida. The trips to Tucson will take off twice weekly. There will be flights to Fort Myers and Tampa daily. Those flights will take off starting today. Allegiant is also set to launch another nonstop flight to West Palm Beach later this month.
The U.S. Navy will name a warship in honor of late Indiana Senator Richard Lugar. Senator Todd Young announced that the Navy Secretary and members of the Lugar family will attend a private naming ceremony on on Monday at the Indiana War Memorial. Young and fellow Indiana Senator Mike Braun introduced an amendment in June for the naming. The USS Richard G. Lugar will be a guided missile destroyer. Lugar died in April at the age of 87. Thousands of people in the Indianapolis area are a part of the LGBTQ plus community, and part of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative is helping you overcome workplace barriers.
And so organizers with Indy Pride are working to make sure that everyone feels comfortable where they work. Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with how they are doing just that. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so whether it's a desk job, retail, reporting the news, or manual labor, everyone wants to feel safe at their job. And that's the goal of the Indy Pride organization when they started their workplace workshop about a year ago. The goal of the workshop is to get large employers together to talk about how they can make their offices more inclusive to people in the LGBTQ plus community. Executive Director Chris Handberg says the workshop has grown to almost 100 employers, and he says the people in the LGBTQ community are happy to see their employers putting forth the extra effort.
Every time that I talk with someone from the community that's part of these organizations, they are really proud that their company is participating. They're really proud that their company is present at Pride, and they're really proud that the place that they spend a lot of their time is affirming of who they are.
Handberg says they discuss things like what's appropriate to ask someone in an interview, how to leave the door open so people know they are safe for disclosure, plus how to use appropriate language in emails to make everyone feel included. Now, coming up in the next half hour, we're talking to an employer who is taking that extra effort to make sure all of their employees feel included. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Time right now, 5:06. An Indianapolis minister is raising the red flag on safety issues at Washington Point Apartments. Issues she says management refuses to address. Karen Squires says there are numerous lights in the complex that are either burnt out or flicker all night long. She says the lack of light is a welcome mat for crime in the area, especially after a young mother was carjacked in the complex last month.
You see those flat lights on the buildings? Those are, half of those are out.
Okay.
So it's not safe, just like, kids going through these tunnels. That's easy to snatch somebody from behind those stairs.
Well, it's unclear exactly how many lights are out and what the timeline on the working lights is scheduled to be. We attempted to ask those questions, but our calls to property management were not answered yet.
Thanks to a big expansion project, the Wheeler Missions Center for Women and Children on East Washington Street will soon be able to serve more families in need. The organization broke ground on the $13 million expansion yesterday. It will add transitional apartments, dozens of new beds, and a child care area. Earlier this year, the mission called on the community to donate to the project, and the community stepped up in a big way.
I look out here and see all the people that have helped us, and I appreciate it so much. It's been a labor of love. So many people have come to the table.
Work on the project is expected to wrap up next summer, but as always, donations are still needed. Here at 5:07, let's take a look at what the weather is like with Todd.
And it's a little better here this morning than it has been the past few mornings, at least temperature-wise across the area. Instead of walking out the door to temperatures that are in the single digits and talking about record low temperatures, this morning we're talking about temperatures that are hovering right around 30 degrees currently, but as the morning goes on, we'll drop a few more degrees here as the clouds start to thin out, and we'll be left with partly cloudy skies. So 8 a.m. the sun will be up. The temperature should be right around 24 degrees. So you still need to bundle up. It's still cold, don't get me wrong. It's just not as bad as it has been the past few days. Now overnight we had some snow flurries that went through. No accumulation or anything like that, but nonetheless they are moving out, and there's the lingering cloud cover right now. But as we expand out and look off to the west, you notice the clouds break apart, and that's what's heading our way as we work our way throughout the course of the afternoon hours. So with the sunshine, a little more of a southerly wind. Temperatures today top off in the mid-30s to the north, so we all get above freezing today. 35 in Kokomo, 37 in Lafayette. As you work your way southward, we're looking at temperatures that will be in the 40s from Bloomington over towards Columbus. So we're making the step into the 40s in some locations today. Most of us should get there tomorrow. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Hours of testimony reveal new details about conversations involving President Trump and leaders from Ukraine. Coming up, what was said in the impeachment inquiry about the public hearings.
And another tech giant is getting involved in the banking business. Still ahead, how Google is planning to create smart checking accounts.
And here's a live look right now at traffic in the downtown area. I-65 in the south split. Traffic here is moving along up to speed. No major crashes to report around the metro area, so that's great news if you're heading out the door at this early hour. Stick around. We'll be right back after this short break.
Days from 4:30 to 7.
Welcome back. Time right now, 5:12 here on your Thursday. This is a live look at your drive up on the north side of town. I-465 here at the Keystone Avenue exit. You can see traffic's moving along just fine, both eastbound and westbound. No crashes, no road construction here to slow you down.
The first public hearings were held yesterday, and new details were revealed about another call allegedly involving President Trump and the president of Ukraine. Two House lawmakers took the stand, undergoing hours of testimony. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in Washington with more.
This morning, new questions after that surprising new testimony in the impeachment investigation.
It could not be explained. It was crazy.
U.S. diplomat in Ukraine Bill Taylor and senior State Department official George Kent both testified that President Trump ordered nearly $400 million in military aid withheld from Ukraine for political purposes. Taylor says he recently learned that on July 26th, one day after the president's controversial call with Ukraine's president, his staffer overheard Trump asking U.S. Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, over the phone about, quote, the investigations.
The member of my staff asked Ambassador Sondland what President Trump thought about Ukraine. Ambassador Sondland responded that President Trump cares more about the investigations of Biden.
President Trump says he doesn't remember the conversation.
I know nothing about that. First time I've heard it. The one thing I've seen that Sondland said was that he did speak to me for a brief moment, and I said no quid pro quo under any circumstances, and that's true.
For Republicans at the hearing, they focused on the end result, that the White House in the end released the military aid to Ukraine, and noted that Taylor and Kent are relying on secondhand information.
Ambassador, you weren't on the call, were you? The president, you didn't listen on President Trump's call and President Zelensky's call?
I did not.
You've never talked with Chief of Staff Mulvaney?
I never did.
You never met the president?
That's correct.
Taylor's staffer who allegedly heard that phone call, David Holmes, will now testify tomorrow, but in private. The next witness to testify in public is former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch, also set for tomorrow. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, Washington.
Former President Jimmy Carter is on the mend after having brain surgery earlier this week. His family pastor says he's up and walking and can see visitors. The 95-year-old went to the hospital on Monday for surgery to relieve pressure on his brain. Doctors say the pressure was caused by bleeding after some recent falls. Carter will stay in the hospital for a little while longer so doctors can keep an eye on him.
New York is raising the age to buy tobacco and e-cigarette products to 21. The legislation went into effect yesterday. New York State Police are also investigating retailers selling vape products to underage youth. Fines can go as high as $1,000 for selling to underage people. Lawmakers hope the move helps combat the health threats stemming from these products. The CDC reports that vitamin C acetate, an ingredient in some vaping products, may be to blame for the outbreak of lung injuries. New York is the 18th state to raise the buying age.
A California utility company has agreed to a settlement over damage done by multiple wildfires. Southern California Edison will pay a combined $360 million to various counties that had damage from wildfires and mudslides. The settlement is for the 2017 Thomas and Koenigstein fires and the 2018 Woolsey and Montecito mudslides. Multiple people were killed in the fires and more than 20 died in the mudslide. The utility company did not admit fault in the settlement and still faces lawsuits from some individual victims. Back here at home, it is 5:16, a little warmer than where we were at this time yesterday, Todd.
Yeah, a lot warmer. In fact, temperatures are running in some spots about 15 to 20 degrees warmer than where they were. So we're at 30 degrees right now. That is the good news. The wind's out of the south-southwest at 8 miles per hour. And it's that southerly wind combined with some cloud cover that's moved through that has helped to keep our temperatures a little bit warmer this morning compared to where they were. Of course, the past couple days we were setting record low temperatures. Not the case here this morning. 25 in Crawfordsville, 30 in Martinsville and Bloomington, 28 in Greenfield, 32 is the current temperature in in Muncie. So as we work our way throughout the day today, the cloud cover that's kind of out there this morning will break apart by about 9, 10 o'clock, and we'll just call it partly cloudy. And then we should get into a good amount of sunshine as the day progresses. So there's a little more cloud cover around this morning compared to later on this afternoon. 35 degrees will be our noontime temperature, with highs today that get up to right around 36, 37 in the city. Some of you, though, in southern locations, you will see your temperatures climb up into the low 40s. So we're finally starting to turn the page and inching our way a little closer to where we should be for this time of year. A few flurries overnight. They continue to move out. We're in pretty good shape. Otherwise, skies are going to be partly cloudy here throughout the course of the morning hours. And then here's the clearer skies off to our west that'll start to work in as the day goes forward. So this evening, skies will be clearer, and as a result, temperatures will start to cool off back into the 20s pretty quickly. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, some of you are back into the teens. So it's a little bit of a chilly start to the day tomorrow. But tomorrow, the temperature probably goes up another degree or two, closer to 40 degrees. And very similar to today, we start off with maybe a little bit of cloud cover, and then it becomes partly to mostly sunny throughout the course of the daytime hours. So really, today and tomorrow are 2 days that are very similar to each other. And then as we work our way into the weekend, temperatures get back into the 40s, and next week, temperatures will be in the 40s as well. So it's a decent forecast for us. It's a dry forecast, which is the good news going forward. We don't have any storms heading in our direction. But as far as the temperatures go, we still stay below that average high of 53 degrees. So the overnight lows are still very, very chilly for this time of year. It's just as we get into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, that's when we finally see our temperatures starting to get a little bit closer to where they should be for this time of year. So you just got to be patient as we will see these temperatures start to moderate, getting us out of those record lows that we had a little bit closer to normal as the week progresses.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is our NDOT traffic camera at I-465 and the Crawfordsville Road area. You can see traffic here on the west side is moving along just fine this morning, both northbound and southbound. No issues to slow you down, but take a look here at our traffic now map. We do have a little bit of construction a little bit farther out east to show you. This is impacting drivers heading westbound on I-70. The right lane is blocked right now for construction between State Road 109 there in Knightstown and State Road 9 in the Greenfield area. So just use caution as you're traveling in from areas like Newcastle, Spiceland, Knightstown. You'll need to scoot over into one left lane, and of course we'll keep you updated on when that wraps up. Let's take a look a little bit closer to the downtown area. I-70 here on the east side near Sherman Drive. Traffic's picking up, as you can see by all the headlights there in both directions, but traveling up to speed, no issues.
Crews had to rescue a man from the top of a high-rise McDonald's sign in Cincinnati. The man was working on the sign 100 feet in the air when his lift got stuck. Firefighters had to rescue him with another lift to get him down safely. They got him down in about an hour, and no one suffered any injuries. The man said he wasn't scared because with his job, he's used to it. Hopefully he got a Big Mac or something after that.
Oh, yeah. Well, Google is now trying to get into the banking business. The company plans to offer checking accounts starting next year. Google is reportedly partnering with Citigroup and Credit Union at Stanford University. They want to offer smart checking accounts through Google Pay. Google has not decided if the accounts would charge fees yet. They're not the only ones getting into banking. Facebook, Amazon, and Apple have all announced plans for money services.
Motorola is keeping up with modern technology while turning the clock back to the Razr. The company is returning to its iconic flip phone design for its new smartphone. Motorola says the idea is to make a smartphone that's more compact and easier to carry, like flip phones were. But when it's unfolded, the screen is about 6 inches. The new Razr phone launches in January, but with quite the price tag of $1,500. Lauren,
yeah,
we were
those?
Big fans of the Razrs back in the day, and when you were mad at someone, cool. You could slam it shut. All right. Bring back the Razr.
All right. Well, the Butler Bulldogs are signing their youngest member of their baseball team. Just after the break, we'll introduce you to their newest recruit.
Plus, Disney's Frozen 2 hits theaters this week, and Good Morning Indiana wants to help you take the family to see it early. Keep watching for your chance to win a family 4-pack.
And here's a live look right now at traffic up on the northwest side. I-65 here near 38th Street. Traffic's moving along just fine northbound and southbound. We'll keep our eye on things and keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around. You're watching Good Morning Indiana.
Our TV6 is working for you.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. The time right now is 5:25, and if you're heading out to the airport this morning to catch an early flight, no problems here on your interstates. I-70 a little west of the airport ramps. Everything here is traveling up to speed. No crashes to slow you down.
A 6-year-old Westfield boy is the newest, youngest, and smallest Butler Bulldog. Micah Vida was diagnosed with leukemia in 2015. Wednesday, he signed a letter of intent to become an official member of the Butler baseball team. Micah will attend practices, games, events, and more. And like most 5-star recruits, the team introduced him at a news conference yesterday afternoon.
To be honest with you, his agent is his younger brother, Levi. He's the one that's negotiating all this stuff. Levi comes with him and is quite the baseball player himself.
Oh my goodness, what a darling little guy. The national nonprofit organization Team Impact helped connect Micah and Butler. Can't wait to see some home runs from him.
Yeah, oh, I love that story. Very cool, local, good news story, you could say. All right, so some more good news if you're stepping out the door today. It's not as bitter cold as yesterday, Todd.
No, in fact, temperature
feels pretty good, actually.
Yeah, 30 never felt so good, right? Temperatures are ranging anywhere from 15 to 22 degrees warmer, even 24 degrees warmer with the update that just came in at the top of the hour than they were 24 hours ago. So if you're 24 degrees warmer in Bloomington, where does that put you right now? Well, that puts you in the 30-degree range. As far as temperatures here throughout the course of the day today, we'll fall off a little bit here this morning as the clouds start to move out, but then with plenty of sunshine here this afternoon, temperatures will start to moderate once again back into the mid to upper 30s from Peru to Indianapolis. Some low 40s possible as you work your way from Bloomington to Columbus down to Seymour and into the Bedford area. So overall, a pretty nice day.
A memorial is growing as many pay respects to a canine officer killed in the line of duty yesterday. Ahead on Good Morning Indiana, how the Fishers Police Department is remembering Harley.
And here we want to take a look at traffic near the downtown area, I-65 at West Street and MLK. Traffic's moving along just fine here, both northbound and southbound. We'll continue to keep a close eye on things and keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stick around.
Today at 10 on RTV6. This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Straight ahead at 5:30, the investigation into a deadly mobile home fire continues this morning.
We'll have all the latest details. And Indy Pride is on a mission to make workplaces more inclusive.
Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live with details about a new training program that they're offering to employers. But first, here at 5:30, we do want to get a check of our forecast and see what it feels like outside.
Yeah, you're going to step outside and say to yourself, wow, it actually feels kind of warm out. But Todd, it's only about 30 degrees out there right now.
Yeah, it's still chilly. 30 degrees this time of year is a little closer to where we should be, but it's below normal, but it's not the single digits. That is the good news. So it is not as cold today, whether it's the start of the day or the finish of the day, which is great news. But obviously still very, very chilly in this morning skies. And they are partly cloudy as you walk out the door, and here are those temperatures. So no single digits. In fact, no teens out there this morning. 24 right now in Crawfordsville, 30 in Bloomington, 31 in Bedford, 29 in Tipton. So everybody's within a couple degrees of each other where it's a little bit cooler. That's where the clouds are starting to break apart, and that trend will continue here this morning. Any snow showers that we had or flurries overnight, they are moving off into Ohio. So don't worry about any precipitation this morning. These clouds will continue to move out as the breaks move in. We'll see more and more in the way of sunshine. So gets off to a little bit more of a cloudy start, but it's a beautiful finish to the day. And with that sunshine and a bit of a southerly wind, temperatures will slowly make their way into the upper 30s, with some of you today even climbing up into the 40s. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Here is a look at traffic right now as you're heading out the door to kick off your Thursday. Here's a look over on the northwest side, 465 and West 38th Street. Traffic's moving along just fine there on the interstate. No issues to slow you down. So take a look here at our Traffic Now map. Take you back and look around the metro area. No crashes to slow you down. We do have a right lane closure over here to our east. It's impacting westbound drivers there between State Road 109 in Knightstown, State Road 9 in Greenfield. So a heads up if you travel through that area right now, it's not causing any delays. Let's take a look right now at I-65 Keystone Avenue. This is on the near south side of town. Traffic's moving along just fine through this area. We'll continue to keep a close eye out for any crashes or delays, and of course, we'll let you know. A memorial honoring a Fishers canine officer who was killed yesterday during a manhunt continues to grow today.
5-year-old Harley is the first line of duty death for the Fishers Police Department. The incident began when officers attempted to stop a possible drunken driver. After a brief chase, the suspects stopped in the Saxony neighborhood and ran from their vehicle. Harley was deployed, and while he was searching in a wooded area, officers heard what they believed were gunshots. Harley was later found dead in the woods, and 2 suspects were taken into custody.
It is my belief that he saved lives last night, and we're thankful for his sacrifice.
Services for Harley will be announced at a later date. We, of course, will let you know when that happens.
As for the 2 suspects, police arrested them both in the Saxony neighborhood yesterday morning. Richard Garrett and Rashana Farrow, both 19 years old, Indianapolis residents. They're facing multiple charges. Garrett faces 9, including striking a law enforcement animal and criminal recklessness with a deadly weapon, that is. Farrow was charged with false informing.
This morning, we are still waiting to learn the identities of 2 people killed in a mobile home fire in Martinsville. The fire broke out yesterday morning around 1:30 at a home on South Outer Drive. When crews arrived on scene, 3 bodies were discovered inside. 39-year-old David Fouts was identified as one of the people killed in the fire. The 2 other victims, a man and a woman, have not yet been identified. There is still no word on what caused the fire.
It's 5:34. The NTSB says the Coast Guard repeatedly ignored multiple safety warnings that could have prevented a 2018 duck boat accident that killed 17 people, including 9 members of an Indianapolis family. That accident happened in July when a ride of the Ducks in Branson boat sank during a severe storm. In the safety recommendation report released yesterday, the NTSB says it has urged the Coast Guard to make the popular tourist boats safer by installing systems that prevent rapid sinking and by removing the overhead canopies and side curtain. A new review is planned based on the NTSB's reissuance of recommendations.
For the first time in 2 decades, an impeachment inquiry into a president is being documented by public hearings. Yesterday, 2 career diplomats gave televised testimony into President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. Democrats want to prove President Trump abused the power of his office. During the hearing, Indiana Congressman Andre Carson questioned Bill Taylor and George Kent about President Trump's abrupt removal of Ukraine Ambassador Marie Yovanovitch.
What was your experience with Ambassador Yovanovitch? Was she working hard to combat corruption in Ukraine, sir?
She was dedicated, as is every U.S. government official in Ukraine, to help Ukrainians overcome the legacy of corruption, which they actually have made a number of important steps since 2014.
So, in fact, before all of this happened, you and your superiors at the State Department asked the ambassador to extend her time in the Ukraine, correct, sir?
That is correct.
Public hearings in the impeachment inquiry will continue into next week. Democrats want to wrap up proceedings before the 2020 election and perhaps as soon as the end of the year. Time now is 5:35, and thousands of people in the Indianapolis area are a part of the LGBTQ plus community. And part of our Hiring Hoosiers initiative here at RTV6 is helping people overcome workplace barriers.
And organizers with Indy Pride think it's important for large employers in our area to understand how to make people in the LGBTQ plus community feel comfortable to be themselves at work. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with how they're doing just that. Kelsey, good morning.
Good morning. So no matter what the job is, we all spend a good portion of our week at our workplace. And that's why Indy Pride hosts workshops for large employers in the Indianapolis area to make sure that everyone feels included.
How can we be more diverse and inclusive and actually show that?
That's the question Jeff Rowan with Delta Faucet asked as they joined Indy Pride for their workplace workshop.
In most of our community, we want to go to work, we want to do a good job, and we want to come home and be ourselves. And that can be difficult and challenging if we're facing discrimination or harassment at work for being part of our community.
Chris Handberg is the executive director at Indy Pride. He says these workshops have been going on for about a year and has continued to grow now with more than 100 employers on the mailing list.
We all had a real desire to understand and learn from each other and develop a peer group around employers engaging with the LGBTQ plus community.
Handberg says they go over several things like what's appropriate to ask someone in an interview, how to leave the door open so people know they are safe for disclosure, plus
using appropriate language in emails, making sure to affirm someone's pronouns, and to allow them to be themselves without facing harassment from their coworkers.
Rowan says since joining these workshops, they have received positive feedback from their employees.
We had a new employee start earlier this year who was pretty excited about the fact that we were the sponsor for the Indy Pride Parade. It just shows why we participate in these kind of things. It's because it means a lot to the employees as well as the community.
And his message to other companies who aren't involved in the workshop?
Get involved. We're all in it together and we can all learn a lot.
If you want to learn more about these workshops or how you can get involved with Indy Pride, just head over to indypride.org. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Time now is 5:38, and RTV6 is working for you to find out more about an initiative over here on the west side that's aiming to provide hope and a place for people to heal. A tiny house community is being planned at 1318 South Lyndhurst Drive on property provided by Lyndhurst Baptist Church. 28 tiny homes will help provide a safe place for people who are transitioning out of homelessness. There have been some concerns about how the community will impact the property values in the area and safety concerns, but the people behind the project say those concerns are unfounded.
We've done a lot of research with locations where they have now multiple tiny house villages. We found that things like property values are not negatively affected by it. Safety, you have a controlled environment, 24/7 security.
Well, each person will have to apply and complete a 30-day probation period and background check in order to stay long-term at Circle City Village. Leaders are hoping to break ground this summer. The project will be paid for through private donations. At 5:39, let's check in with Todd and see what the kiddos need to wear out to the bus stop.
All right, yeah, last couple days they've had to have the hats, the gloves, the scarf, the heavy coat. You still need the jacket. You probably may want the gloves and the hat, but you probably don't need them as much this morning as you did the past few days. 27 degrees as the kids head off to school, as the kids come home from school. We're looking at a temperature that'll be right around 36 degrees with skies that'll be partly sunny across the area. So there is some improvement, but we are still well below where we should be. The normal high is 53 degrees for this time of year. Today we're going up to around 40 in Richmond, 37 in Crawfordsville and Lafayette, a little cooler to the north, but we should see quite a few 40s here in southern locations today. 42 in Bedford, 44 in Seymour with skies that'll be partly sunny. Then in and around the metro area, temperatures probably still in the 30s, but again, a step forward compared to where we have been high temperatures the past few days. 36 in Indy. Franklin, you'll see a high temperature of 39 degrees. We do have some 50s in your 7-day planning forecast. We'll let you know when they arrive, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. Death row inmate Rodney Reed is just days away from execution. Straight ahead details on new information his lawyers hope will help save his life.
And reports say some new superbugs are becoming resistant to antibiotics. Still ahead why the CDC is calling them an urgent threat. But first here, let's get a look at traffic. It is 5:40, and this is a live look on the northwest side. No problems here on 465 near West 38th Street. We'll continue to monitor your roads this morning and let you know if they'll impact your Thursday commute. Stick around. We'll be right back.
See the St. Jude logo.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 5:44 on your Thursday, and here's what your drive looks like on the north side. I-465 here in Keystone Avenue. Traffic's pretty quiet this morning. No issues to slow you down. We'll keep a close eye on things, though, and keep you updated throughout the morning.
President Trump says he could release the transcript of his first call with Ukraine's president as soon as today. Speaking to reporters yesterday, he said this call was more important than the second call he had with President Vladimir Zelensky. The second, now infamous call sparked the House impeachment inquiry. In that call, President Trump appeared to use military aid to pressure the Ukrainian leader to investigate his potential 2020 opponent, Joe Biden, and Biden's son. In a joint news conference with the president of Turkey, President Trump also blasted the first open impeachment hearing, calling it, quote, a hoax and a witch hunt.
The calls to save Texas death row inmate Rodney Reed are growing louder. The 51-year-old is set to be executed in just 6 days. Reed was convicted of murdering Stacey Stites back in 1996, but has maintained his innocence. His lawyers recently filed a new petition with new and previously unheard sworn testimonies from people close to Stites. And earlier this month, an affidavit claimed Stites' former fiance confessed to killing her.
There were witnesses that were not called. There was all kinds of stuff out there, evidence that we have that proves his innocence.
So I'm asking first a stay and a new trial. And a fair trial.
Reed's case has since gained the attention of several high-profile celebrities and top politicians. An online petition to stop the execution now has more than 2.8 million signatures.
Climate activist Greta Thunberg is on her way back to Europe. The 16-year-old set sail from Hampton, Virginia, Wednesday on a 48-foot catamaran. Thunberg, who refuses to fly, arrived in New York by sailboat back in September. There she kicked off her nearly 3-month North American tour by speaking at the UN Climate Action Summit. From there, she participated in climate strikes across the U.S. and Canada. The 16-year-old is now headed to Spain on the catamaran belonging to 2 Australian YouTubers. The trip is expected to take 2 to 4 weeks. And a trip somewhere warmer sounds awfully nice right about now. Todd, thankfully, we are not experiencing the same temps that we had the past 2 mornings, though.
Yeah, that's the good news. In some locations, it's actually running about 25 degrees warmer this morning than it was yesterday morning when we saw temperatures down in the single digits. So that's probably your biggest headline of the entire day right here, the top one. Not as cold today, whether it's this morning or later on this afternoon. We also have a pretty dry stretch of weather heading our way with a warming trend that'll take us into next week. So each and every day here, our temperatures will start to moderate a little bit, and eventually we get back closer to the 50s where we should be this time of year for our high temperatures. Live look outside right now. There's a little bit of cloud cover out there that's actually helped us a little bit here this morning. It's keeping the temperatures up, and it's also keeping the temperatures up is the southwesterly wind at 8 miles per hour. So when you look at these temperatures across the area, where the clouds are in place, you're still in the 30s. Where the clouds have broken apart just a little bit, that's where temperatures are falling into the 20s at this hour. 24 in Crawfordsville, 28 is the current temperature in Greenfield. So as we work throughout the rest of the day, any snow that's out there will probably melt away today with the sunshine that we have and temperatures that will be above freezing this afternoon. We should get up to right around 38 degrees. Some of you climb into the 40s this afternoon, and then temperatures slowly fall back down into the 30s pretty quickly once the sun sets. So here are those breaks in the clouds in some areas. A few flurries overnight. They continue to move out, and you look off to the west, and there's nothing going on precipitation-wise, and you notice the clouds breaking apart as well. That's the partly cloudy skies that we see throughout the day. Today, this evening, mainly clear. Temperatures will fall back down into the 20s initially, and then when you wake up tomorrow morning, look at this, though. We're down into the teens once again in many locations, but no single digits. That is the good news. And then going forward in this forecast, Friday, tomorrow, we are up to 38 degrees, a little bit warmer once again. We fast forward into your Saturday, 40 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And then as we work our way into Sunday, 45 degrees. And that will continue the warming trend as we work our way into next week. By the time we get to Monday and then eventually into Tuesday and even Wednesday of next week, we are looking at those highs right around 50 degrees. I mentioned the dry stretch of weather. With the exception of maybe a few flurries and or showers Sunday night into Monday, it's a completely dry forecast.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at our Traffic Now map. The only issue I'm monitoring right now is a right lane closure due to road construction all the way out here on I-70 on the westbound lanes between State Road 109 and State Road 9. So sort of between Edstown and Greenfield this morning. Just use caution, stay to the left in that area. It's not slowing things down this morning at this hour, so that is great news. Let's take a look, though, back here in the downtown area, I-65 and I-70 at the North Split. Traffic's moving along just fine here this morning. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads and let you know if there are any areas you need to avoid.
A new report from the CDC says some superbugs are becoming drug resistant, and that is killing people. According to the report, every 15 minutes, someone in the United States dies of a superbug that has outsmarted antibiotics. That's about 35,000 deaths each year. 5 drug-resistant superbugs are now on the CDC's urgent threat list. Health experts say the answer to these drug-resistant superbugs is to look for ways to keep infections from happening in the first place. And doctors should only be prescribing antibiotics when absolutely necessary.
Skin cancer rates are dropping among teens and millennials. A report shows cases of melanoma in people younger than 30 dropped 23% in the U.S. between the years 2006 and 2015. Researchers saying the drop suggests efforts to encourage people to protect themselves from the sun are paying off. Melanoma is the 5th most common cancer here in the United States, and it's linked to more than 9,000 deaths each year.
Mars is launching a new line of vegan chocolate bars that are out of this world. The candy company is the first major confectionery company to offer a plant-based alternative to milk chocolate. And apparently it wasn't easy to make. Without the dairy in milk chocolate, getting that creamy texture was quite a challenge. But they feel like they nailed it. The bars will come in 3 flavors: caramelized hazelnut, caramel and sea salt, and smooth orange. The products will go on sale next week in UK supermarkets and on Amazon. No word yet when they'll hit store shelves here in the U.S.
Those look good. Well, Disney's Frozen 2 hits theaters this week. Good Morning Indiana wants to help you take your family to see it a little bit early. So keep watching for your chance to win a family pack of 4 tickets. It's 5:50. We'll be right back.
Easy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
And good morning to you in Carmel. Here's a live look in your area. US 31 near 116th Street. You can see traffic here is moving along just fine, northbound and southbound. We're keeping a close eye out for any crashes or delays. Of course, we'll keep you updated.
A California school resource officer is not just busting misbehaving students, he can also bust a move. Corporal Ryan Tillman cut the rug to MC Hammer's tune, "You Can't Touch This," at Don Lugo High School in Chino. He didn't have his hammer pants on, but he did the entire routine in his full uniform. The routine was all part of the school's farewell for Tillman. He has been a campus resource officer for about a year and a half, but is moving to another assignment.
Oh, and he's got the moves.
Whoa, whoa.
All right, well, check out this story. Narwhal, the unicorn puppy, is capturing hearts all across the internet, and that's because he has what looks like a small tail between his eyes. You can see it there. The 10-week-old Dachshund Beagle mix was rescued Saturday in rural Kansas City. He was taken to Max Mission. It's a rescue that specializes in fostering animals with special needs. Max says even though the unicorn tail makes Narwhal the coolest puppy ever, it doesn't wag. Vets also say Narwhal appears to be completely healthy. The rescue organization plans to monitor the tail to make sure it doesn't cause any future problems before putting Narwhal up for adoption. I don't think you'll have any trouble finding a forever home. He's awfully cute.
Not at all. And Todd, you're in luck. We are not putting you up for adoption anymore because after the past 2 mornings, we contemplated it. We weren't sure what we were going to do with you.
Well, I would hope somebody would still adopt me because there are warmer days ahead. I can guarantee that. This morning, as you walk out the door, temperatures are hovering right around the freezing mark. 30 in Indy, 32 in Muncie. There were a few flurries, as you see on Storm Team 6 radar overnight. They have now moved out. That is the good news. And going forward, it's a decent day for us. I know we're still below normal with our high temperature only getting up to 39 degrees. Our normal high this time of year, that should be getting up to right around 53. So we're still well below normal, but not as cold. That is the good news as far as your 7-day planning forecast goes. You'll notice the temperature trend as we work our way throughout the day. Today, we're up to about 39. Same for tomorrow. 40s for the weekend. Still mid to upper 40s to start next week. But then eventually, as we work our way into the middle half of next week, high temperatures get up to right around 50 degrees. One thing you do not notice is any precipitation in this 7-day planning forecast.
Looks good, Todd. Thank you. Coming up in the next half hour, a local program aims to remove the barriers of ageism in the workplace. Our Mark Mullins shows us how Goodwill Industries is helping connect seniors to employers.
A new scam targeting people who use ride-sharing apps could leave you with a surprise charge and a false claim that you damaged the vehicle. Call 6 Investigates Kara Kenny shows us what you need to watch out for. And here at 5:56, let's take a live look right now from our Weather Now camera here on top of the IMS Pagoda. You can see the lights of the Brickyard there. A little sneak peek for you. I'm sure they're doing some test runs of those lights. We'll be right back with more news, weather, and traffic here at 6 a.m.